ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ। ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ। ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ। ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ। ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ। ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨਾ ਜਾਨਾ ਨਾਹਿਨ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਕਰਨੀ। ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਕੈ ਅੰਚਲ ਲਾਵਹੁ ਬਿਖਮ ਨਦੀ ਜਾਇ ਤਰਣੀ। ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਾਰ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਤੇਰੀ। ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੀ। ਮੈਂ ਮੂਰਖ ਕੀ ਕੇਤਕ ਬਾਤ ਹੈ ਕੋਟ ਪਰਾਧੀ ਤਰਿਆਰੇ। ਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਪੇਖਿਆ ਸੇ ਫਿਰ ਗਰਭਾਸ ਨਾ ਪਰਿਆ ਰੇ। ਤੇਰੇ ਜੋਰ ਮੈਂ ਗੂੰਗਾ ਕਹਤਾ ਹੂੰ ਤੇਰਾ ਸਦਕਾ ਤੇਰੀ ਸ਼ਰਨ।
ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਸੋਰਠ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪੰਜਵਾ। ਗੁਰ ਪੂਰੈ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਧਾਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਪੂਰੀ ਲੋਚ ਹਮਾਰੀ। ਕਰ ਇਸਨਾਨ ਗ੍ਰਹਿ ਆਏ ਆਨੰਦ ਮੰਗਲ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਏ। ਸੰਤਹੁ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਨਿਸਤਰੀਐ ਊਠਤ ਬੈਠਤ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਧਿਆਈਐ। ਅਨ ਦਿਨ ਸੁਕ੍ਰਿਤ ਕਰੀਐ ਰਹਾਉ। ਸੰਤ ਕਾ ਮਾਰਗ ਧਰਮ ਕੀ ਪੌੜੀ ਕੋ ਵੱਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਪਾਏ। ਕੋਟ ਜਨਮ ਕੇ ਕਿਲ ਬਿਖ ਨਾਸੇ ਹਰ ਚਰਨੀ ਚਿਤ ਲਾਏ। ਉਸਤਤ ਕਰਹੁ ਸਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਨ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ। ਜੀ ਜੰਤ ਸਭ ਭਏ ਪਵਿੱਤਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕੀ ਸਚ ਸਾਖੀ। ਬਿਗਨ ਬਿਨਾਸਨ ਸਭ ਦੁਖ ਨਾਸਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਮ ਦ੍ਰਿੜਾਇਆ। ਖੋਏ ਪਾਪ ਭਏ ਸਭ ਪਾਵਨ ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਖ ਘਰ ਆਇਆ। ਗੁਰ ਪੂਰੈ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਧਾਰੀ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਪਤਿਤ ਪਾਵਨ ਭਗਤ ਵਤਸਲ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਖਜ਼ਾਨੇ ਜੋਤ ਰੂਪ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ। We're blessed to be gathered here today in the sanctuary of ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ, the King of Kings, the ਦਸਾਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਜੋਤ, the form of ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ, the Lord God who is the giver, the organizer and the deliverer of us back into themselves. The 10th Master, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, created Dhan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji in the form as we know them today. As Bhai Sahib Ji said, Nimaniya tu maan. So Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Akal Purkh Vaheguru, gives us that honour. From having no honour, they give us complete honour. Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, historically, their Gurgaddi Divas actually falls 2 days after Bandi Chhod Divas or Diwali. When we celebrate Diwali, historically the Sikhs over the last 300 or so years celebrate the Gurgaddi Divas, the day that Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji became the official Guru of the Sikhs, 2 days after Bandi Chhod. So as well as thinking about Diwali and how Sri Guru Sahib Ji is the Bandi Chhod Data who breaks us from all these bonds, we're also remembering that Dhan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is our Guru, is the Sikhs Guru for eternity. At the same time, for this year, Dhan Baba Deep Singh Sahib Ji Shaheed, they were Shaheed when they fought with their head held in their hands, freeing Harmandir Sahib from the oppressors and the tyrants who were causing beadabi there, to Sri Guru Ramdas Sahib Ji Sarovar and Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji's built Sri Harmandir Sahib. Their Shaheedi Divs is on the day of Diwali this year. So Guru Sahib Ji is Bandi Chhod Data, they break us from all our bonds. And Gursikhi teaches us, or Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, when he created the Khalsa, showed us that a Gursikh should have 2 qualities. They need to be a saint and they need to be a soldier. Depending on our past actions, our karams, the hukam Akal Purkh Vaheguru has given for our lives. Generally, we find people who tread the path or the saintly path, and we find Sikhs who tread the path of becoming soldiers. And sometimes Guru Sikhs are blessed where they become complete saint soldiers, but they are very rare to find on this earth. Bhai Savinderjeet Singh will be talking about that path of becoming a soldier and talking about some of those soldiers, like I've mentioned, Dhan Baba Deep Singh Sahib Ji, who in fact was a complete saint soldier, but we'll talk about some of the Guru Sikhs that have followed that path and followed that path of sacrifice. I'm going to share this Hukumanama thinking about Dhan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji as being our true Guru, our complete Guru, and maybe discuss as the Hukumanama will develop, as this Shabad will develop, how we can walk on the path of spirituality and the path of saintliness.
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਸੋਰਠ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪੰਜਵਾ।
Dhan Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji in the Rag Sorat'h, which is actually a feminine Rag as given to us in Ragmala, gives us this Shabad. This Shabad was given to us by Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji when they and Mata Ganga Ji were actually in a neighbouring pind or place called Wadali. And when they came back to Amritsar Sahib Ji and Sri Harmandir Sahib Ji, when the Gursikhs asked their hal chal, how they've been, then Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji recited this Shabad.
Pureh Kirpa Dhari.
So Dhan Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji is saying Pureh. Pureh means complete, perfect. Gur meaning Guru, the enlightener, our support. Guru can be translated Go and Ru. Go means darkness, Ru means light. Guru takes us from the darkness to the light. What darkness do they take us from? They take us from the darkness of having no knowledge. No knowledge of what? No knowledge of God. No knowledge of the infinite power, the almighty Vaheguru. We don't have knowledge because we're living in this world. We all know that God exists, but ultimately we don't have no knowledge because we are not one with the Lord. It's like, as a simple example, I come from Leeds and I can describe Leeds to you. I can describe it because I've been there, I am from there, I live there, I'm one with Leeds. Now if I describe to you and you have never been to Leeds, and then you describe to somebody else the directions to Leeds or what Leeds is like, You only know from what I've told you. You are not one, you've never been there, so ultimately you haven't got complete knowledge. And in the same way, we know about God, we know about the Almighty, but until we are one with the Almighty, we don't know the extent of the Almighty. We don't know the extent of Waheguru. So Guruji takes us from that darkness of having no knowledge, or having no true knowledge of Waheguru, to the light which is all knowledge. Our Guru takes us out of this society and spiritually allows us to become one with Waheguru. And for that to occur, we need a Pura Guru, a complete Guru, a perfect Guru. And Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji is saying, Pureh, Kirpa, Dhari. The complete Guru, the perfect Guru, who in the first form came as Stan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the embodiment of Akal Purkh Waheguru, has blessed their Kirpa, has taken pity on us and has blessed us. Now why do we need a complete Guru? Even in the times of the Gurus, in the times of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, even in the time of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, their brother, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji's brother and relatives of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji put themselves up as being the Guru. But the Gurgaddi, the Guruship, could only be passed by the previous Guru, and Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji was the Guru, as they were the embodiment of Akal Purkh Waheguru, and they would only pass the Guruship to those who ultimately again were the embodiment of Akal Purkh Waheguru, as Gurbani tells us. For instance, Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, Aap Narayan Kalatar Jag Meh Parvaryo. That's what Guru Granth Sahib Ji tells us about Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji. Even though Sri Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji, before they met Sri Guru Angad Dev Sahib Ji, followed a different faith, they still were the embodiment of Waheguru, as Gurbani tells us. Now you might question, just going separately, why would Guru Amar Das Sahib Ji follow a different faith if they are the embodiment of the Almighty and are here to preach good Sikhi? Well, maybe they followed that faith in their early days to show us that we, no matter what faith we are from, we don't have to be Sikhs to follow this path. Or for instance, we don't have to be born in Sikh families or be Punjabis to follow this path. This path of Gursikhi is for all humanity and all of God's creation, because God wouldn't come and just choose certain people. Waheguru comes to this earth in their forms, in their 10 forms, and now the form of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, for all their creation, to save all their creation and break them free from the 8.4 million birth and death life cycle. So the Gurgaddi was passed to the rightful Roop of Waheguru. But in that time, there were people who claimed themselves as being the Guru. And as time has developed, we have found people who have become false, what we call false Babbe or Pakhandi Babbe, that have taken us from the path of Gursikhi, made us join with them and follow reeds and rivaj and superstitions which are not laid down by our Gurus, which are taking us away from the path of spirituality. Now it's rightful that as we have developed in this modern age and we have become a little bit more intellectual, studying history, becoming intellectual, being educated maybe a little bit more than those who were educated in terms of the worldly ways in our previous times. Although we have become educated, when we can spot these people, because it's easy to spot these people, because if they put themselves up as being false Babbe or even a type of Guru, then really we can test them, because if they join us with them, then they can't be the true Guru, because the perfect Guru, like we say in the translation of Guru, takes us from where we are and joins us with Akal Purkh Waheguru, the formless form of Nirankar, makes us one. And only now Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji can do that, as we know. There may be other people out there, but we wouldn't ever be able to test. And more often than not, those people join us with themselves and make us do practices that they give out, like different superstitions, doing certain things on different days. So the true Guru is one who joins us with Akal Purkh Waheguru. Just something that comes to my mind. Before India was split and we had Pakistan and India and Bangladesh, there was a time on Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji's Shahidi Purb. Now Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, our fifth Guru, was Satuna Tati Tavi, and that's how they became Shaheed. And there was a person there that said he was just like Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and he set himself up as a Guru. What the Gursikhs did, they took him in the langar one time and said, we want to feed you. And actually they were testing to see what his power was. Was he the almighty form? And in India, in the langar, they have taviyan which are really big, because obviously you have to make a lot of prasad for the sangat. And they picked him up and said, we're going to put you on this tatti tavi. And he started screaming and shouting, don't put me there. Now, and obviously you understand, he was tested to see if he had the same power of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, to say, Tera kiya meetha lagay, har naam padarat nanak mangay, if and when he was to be sat on this tatti tavi. But he screeched, he screamed. Obviously he wasn't that form. Now I'm not saying that's how you test every person who puts himself up as a guru or a false baba, because there are good people out there. But you generally know by the simple question, if they join you with themselves, then they are obviously not true saints, or they're definitely not the guru, because our guru is Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And if they're true saints, they will always join you with Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But as time has gone on and we become intellectual, we've started studying, we become scholars, we become professors and doctors, not just in the worldly system, because as Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji and even Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji were educated in worldly vidya, they all knew Farsi, they were trained in all the languages of that time. They were trained in all the vidya, the education of that time. And in this day and age, as Sikhs, we develop and we should learn and have all education and be intellectual. So when I mean professors and doctors, I don't mean professors and doctors in the sense of in the education world. I mean professors and doctors in Gursikhi, because we've started to do Khoj of Gursikhi. And some of those professors and doctors are really good, because they have researched and they've found different places that even Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji travelled to that nobody had found yet, and found Nishani of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. But what they have then become, they become so intellectual that they have gone away from the Guru. And themselves, even though they've found these false babbe and they've questioned them and they've stood up against them, what they've done, because they become so intellectual, they have forgotten that Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the embodiment of the Almighty Lord. What they have become, they are saying that Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is just Gyan, is just knowledge. So they are comparing Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and I'm not being disrespectful, but they compare Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji just like any other book in their minds. But for the Gursikhs, we see Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji as Jagdi Jyot, Pothi Parmesar Ka Than. That's what Guru Sahib Ji tells us. This is where the Lord resides. Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the living Lord through their Shabad, through their Gurbani. And the only way, as we're going to hear in this Shabad, to find oneness with the Lord is by speaking to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, by reciting their Shabads, by reciting the name that we are given by the Panch Pyare, the Gur Mantra. So, Gur Pureh Kirpa Dhari, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji was given the Gur Gaddi at Sachkhand Sri Hajur Sahib. 5 Singhs were present: Tan Baba Deep Singh Sahib Ji Shaheed, Baba Gurbaksh Singh Sahib Ji Shaheed, Bhai Sukhraj Singh Ji, Bhai Har Singh Ji, who used to write the diary of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, the daily diary, and Bhai Seva Singh Ji, who was the first Sevadar of Hajur Sahib. They were the 5 Singhs that did the Ardas when Gur Gaddi was given to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And we must never forget that Guru Granth Sahib Ji is our Guru, and Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the only way to become one with the Lord as Guru is defined. So Gur Pureh Kirpa Dhari, Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the Almighty Lord, has blessed us all. They've blessed us all because they have given us this human life to be able to walk on this path of a saint, or walk on this path of a soldier, or ultimately walk on the path of the true Khalsa, the saint soldier. They have blessed us with this opportunity so we can repeat their name and we can break free from the 8.4 million birth and death life cycle. Now over time, because our own people have set themselves up falsely, we have now started to question Gursikhi completely. We are not only questioning our history, but we're questioning what Guru Sahib Ji set up for us, like the Harmandir Sahib Sarovar. But Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji has told us many times, Ram Das Sarovar Nate, Sab Utre Paap Kamate. By bathing in that Sarovar, all our Paap are cleaned. How are they cleaned? I'm going to explain a little bit further. But they are cleaned, and if we go with that Sharda, we will be cleaned. Ram Das Sarovar Nika, Jo Navahe So Kol Tarave, Udar Hua Hai Ji Ka. So Ramdas Sarovar is Nika, it's really good, it's Changa, it's great. Jo Navahe Kol Tarave. So those who bathe in it will not only sort themselves out from this worldly ocean, they will also save their whole Kol, their generations. Udar Hua Hai Ji Ka, our soul will be saved and will become one with the Lord. So there's many Parman in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji about Harmandir Sahib Sarovar. But as we've gone on, we've questioned our history, we've questioned things that have been set up by our gurus, And we question how can a Sarovar, by bathing in the Sarovar, save us and clean our paths? Well, we can question in one sense. There's a Sakhi in Bhagat Kabir Ji's times, Bhagat Kabir Ji, the Bhagat, who came before Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, who was not necessarily a Gursikh in the form that we are, with obviously in the Khalsa Panth and following those teachings, because they came before, but they have been blessed with their Bani being contained in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, again showing that any person from any walk of life, no matter what caste, what colour, what creed, they can all become one with the Lord through the teachings of the true Guru. Now, Bhagat Kabir Ji, many Pandits came, and at that time they were seen as of having a low caste, because the caste system in India was quite major in them days. Although in Gursikhi there is no caste system, because we're all the Khalsa, we're all the sons and daughters of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, Mata Sahib Kaur. The Pandits came and they said, Bhagat Kabir Ji, let's go and do Ishnan in our Tirths. They were going on a Tirth Yatra now. In their faith, they believe in 68 places of pilgrimage where they have to go and bath, and they feel their sins are cleaned when they go to those 68 places. And Bhagat Kabir Ji said, no, I don't want to go. And they refused to go, and to quicken the Sakhi, the Pandits ended up going, but Bhagat Kabir Ji said, I can't go, but take this fruit with you and make sure when you bathe in all of these 68 places, you wash the fruit in these 68 places of pilgrimage. And that fruit was actually called a tumma fruit or a tumba fruit. Now what that type of fruit is, it looks very beautiful on the outside, but it's sour on the inside, it's very kora on the inside. And these Pandits went and they bathed themselves in these 68 places, and just as Bhagat Kabir Ji said, they washed this fruit in all those 68 places. And when they came back, Bhagat Kabir Ji said, I need to feed you prasada now, because you've been to all these places of pilgrimage, you can bless me because you've done darshan in all these places. And did you take that fruit and did you do as I asked? And they said yes. So Bhagat Kabir Ji started feeding them prasada. And at the same time, Bhagat Kabir Ji cut that fruit and placed it in their thaliyan. And as they were eating prasada, they took one bite of that fruit and they spat everything out, because obviously that fruit was sour on the inside. And Bhagat Kabir Ji said, they first said, why are you feeding us this? This is kora. This is not doing our seva. And Bhagat Kabir Ji said, but you took that, as they would in asking a simple question but giving a very easy teaching to us. You took this fruit and you bathed it in the same places, and surely you say by bathing there you are saved. All your pap is washed away. So surely this fruit which was kora on the inside, it should be pure now. So why aren't you eating it? And the teaching was, when you go to these places, when we go to these places, when we come to the Gurdwara, when we, like we have today, when we go to Sri Harmandir Sahib, if in our mind is pap still, if we go there thinking, Maharajh, I've done wrong, but as we walk out of there, we've still got pap and thuggi in our mind that we're going to double-cross people and not do good actions, then how obviously are we going to be saved? We're still going to be kora and sour on the inside. If we still do nindya chugli of Sikhs and everybody else, if we still believe in the false ways, in the caste system, if we still follow false prophets, false babbe, then obviously our pap, how are they going to be washed? Because we're still going to go back to the wrong ways of the world, the materialistic ways. So how can they be washed? And that was the teaching Bhagat Kabir Ji gave. But when we go to Sri Harmandir Sahib, because we have our true Guru, and constantly Gurbani is being played, and we're listening to that, and the Gursikhs are all bathing in that Sarovar, we are being cleansed by their Charanturi. And Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji themselves are saying that they are searching for the dust of the Gursikhs, of their Sikhs. So Ishnan can be an official Ishnan by having a bathe, specifically in our Sarovars that Guru Sahib Ji has set up. So by giving this lesson, a non-Sikh, I can't remember, I think he may have been a Hindu or he may have been an English person. It's, actually this story has come out and it's been all over the internet that he had cancer. And he went to Sri Harmandir Sahib and he washed himself in the Sarovar daily and listened to an Akhand Path at Sri Harmandir Sahib. And where the doctors had given him a jawab that he would be dying in the next 6 months to a year, when he went to Sri Harmandir Sahib and washed himself in that Sarovar daily and listened to that Akhand Path Sahib, the Gurbani of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, his cancer had vanished. And this story had come out in previous years. I don't remember whether the person was English, American or Hindu, but you can search for that yourself. It's quite a famous story. So Harmandir Sahib Sarovar can clean all our paps away from our previous actions.
Anad Mangal Sukh Pai.
But the key Ishnan, so we have Ishnan by bathing in the Sarovars, we have Ishnan by the dust of the saints, by doing Jodiyandi Seva, by doing the Chadran di Seva after the Sangat has gone. But the ultimate Ishnan is reciting the name of the Lord. The ultimate Ishnan for a Gursikh is to recite the name of the Lord, the Gur Mantar and the Mool Mantar we are given by the Panch Pyare and the Gurbani contained in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji.
Anad Mangal Sukh Paye.
And if we do that, we would receive Anad Mangal. We would gain eternal bliss, Sukh Paye. We will get all peace. What type of peace? There's different types of peace. We're having one type of peace now possibly, sat in the sanctuary of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji listening to their Kirtan. That kind of peace is called Bhajana Anand. It's peace that only lasts for a certain time. And the type of peace we will get if we believe in our true Guru, if we follow the teachings of our true Guru, if we do that Ishnan by doing the Seva of the Sadh Sangat and by repeating the name of the Lord, we will gain this eternal bliss. Eternal bliss is called Kana Anand. So the example to explain this is, it's just like if it rains really heavy and streams and rivers are filled up. But then in the summertime, look like we have in this country and other countries, we have a drought and those streams and rivers dry out and there's no water there. That's what you call Bhajananand. So you gain that bliss like rains when we sat in the Sangat or when we're doing Part at home or we're doing Seva. We gain that bliss for that time. But then it dries out when we go back to the worldly ways and the materialistic ways. But while we're living, as even Bhagat Kabir Ji again in another one of his Shabad said, while we're living and working, we can recite the name of the Lord. So we ultimately gain what we call Kana Anand, eternal bliss, eternal peace. And what that is just like an ocean. If it rains in an ocean, if it's sun dries out these rivers, the ocean's water never ends. The water is always there. So that is what we call eternal peace. We will have that opportunity to gain eternal peace. And in this world where we have so many worries and tensions, worries about our job, worries about our studies, worries about our families, worries about money, worries about our house, clothes, cars, we will accept those that materialistic wealth that Guru Sahib Ji will give us, and we won't be caught up in it or be attached to it, because what we will be attached to is the Bani of our Guru. We will be attached to the teachings of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and that's what we're here to do. So Guru Sahib Ji, although they give us all this materialistic wealth, they're telling us to educate ourselves, they're telling us to be leaders of the world, but at the same time, they're telling us not to be attached to all of that. So we as Sikhs can live in the world, because Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji says, don't run away to the jungles and recite the name. Live in the world. Become leaders of society. Serve your societies. At the same time, remember the name of the Lord, the giver of all our blessings. So we can do both. And that's when we gain this eternal bliss that never ends.
Santoho Ram Nam Nisatariya.
So how do we do that? Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji is telling us, Santoho. They're calling us Sants. Santoho. My Gursikhs, Ram Nam Nistariya. Ram Nam, by repeating the name of the Lord, described as Ram in this case, Ram meaning Ramaya Hoya, existing everywhere. Nistariya. Nis means, Nistariya can be split into two words. Nis, meaning this worldly ocean. Tariya means to cross the worldly ocean. So by repeating the name of the Lord, we cross this worldly ocean. Ram Nam Nistariya. That is the only way that we can cross this worldly ocean. That is the only way we can come out of duality and understand and accept what we're given, whether it's good or bad, due to the hukam of the Lord as we come into this world, and accept it as the hukam. So we don't get too excited when we feel something good is happening. We don't get too sad when something bad is happening. We stay what we call ikras, in the middle. And then we only get that spirituality is if and we can only cross this worldly ocean through Ram's Naam, Ram Naam Nistariya. Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, Guru Sahib Ji is telling us this is the only way to cross the worldly ocean.
Uthat Baithat Har Har Tyaya Anandin Sukrit Kariya.
So how do we use Ram's Naam to cross this worldly ocean? How does it work? Now, like I said, as these professors and doctors have developed, and some of us have developed, and these false prophets, false Babe have developed, they've taken us away from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They're saying we don't need to recite the name parrot fashion. What's that going to do for us? We don't recite Waheguru, Waheguru, because it's parrot fashion. What are we going to get from there? We only need to recite it once, and we need to reflect on it. Now, reflecting on what Waheguru means is easy. And it's easy for me to say, I'm a truthful person, I never tell a lie. But ultimate truth only comes by reciting the name, by reciting Gurbani over and over, by reciting Japji Sahib over and over, by doing a Khandpath and listening to it. And when we go to Harmandir Sahib Sarovar, our ears are affixed to the Kirtan that we're listening to while we are bathing. So the effect is the Kirtan and the Charantudi of the Sangat that have been in that Sarovar. So we have to Uthat Baitat, by standing and sitting, Har Har, Uthat Baitat, Har Har Tiaiye. So what does Uthat Baitat mean? While we live in this world, while we do our jobs, while we study, whatever we do, Uthat Baitat, Har Har Tiaiye, we repeat the name of the Lord. Because the Lord, physically, with our physical eyes, our physical ears, our physical touch, basically our Gyanindriya or our senses, our physical smell, our physical taste, we don't know where the Lord is. We can't sense them. And we have to go on this path of spirituality to go on their frequency. I'm going to use that word some way for helping us to contemplate it. We've got to find their frequency. We've got to tune into their frequency so we have our spiritual eyes to be able to see them, our spiritual ears to hear them, our spiritual taste to taste them, our spiritual smell to smell them, our spiritual touch to touch them. But we've got to tune into that frequency. The frequency, first frequency, is physical, our senses. And the physical sense we've been given is by repeating their name. By repeating their name and reflecting on what their name means, and the Gurbani is saying, while we repeat it, we are going up and tuning in onto their frequency. And as we tune in onto their frequency, we start not reciting Vaheguru or Gurbani outwardly. We start whispering it. And you'll notice that yourself when you do part. Initially you read it out loud, automatically you start whispering it. Automatically, you don't whisper it anymore, you start reading, just reading it and looking at it with your eyes when you look at Gurbani, it goes inside. Then those of us who are blessed will start hearing it from inside. And we don't just hear it while we're awake, we hear it in our sleep. And when we hear Gurbani in our sleep, basically what we're doing, we're tuning that frequency and we're developing spiritually. And that's why we have to recite Gurbani. If you want to call it para fashion, we have to. It's the only way we're going to tune in. There's no other way we're going to develop spiritually. There's many sakhya where people have said that they tell the truth, they're satya from inside. But they have been caught out by Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. Time is not with us for me to share those sakhya. But it's easy for me to say I'll tell the truth, but we're going to only develop those shubagun, what we call them, those qualities, by reciting Gurbani, because Gurbani has this effect of paraskala. And Bhai Gurdas Ji has told us that paraskala is like a philosopher's stone. It is a philosopher's stone. And a philosopher's stone is this thing that if you touch iron with it, it becomes gold. And Guru Sahib Ji has this effect. That's why we need a pura Guru. That's why we can't go to false babbe and false prophets and people taking us away from Gurbani. Because when you read Gurbani, it is having an effect on you. It's having an effect. If we're like iron, we're becoming gold. Those qualities will come automatically within us. Telling the truth, being truthful, righteousness, they will develop within us, and we'll find that frequency, God's frequency, and become one with the Lord. So while we're living in the world, we have to repeat the name of the Lord. We cannot, if anybody says, because we've done so much Khoj, because people would say that, reciting the name, how is that going to get you closer to God? Possibly because they haven't even tried it. Even scientists have to do an experiment before they find they have a theory, then they test it. Gursikhi's theory is simple. Repeat the name of the Lord, you'll find God. Now it's up to us to test it. Why knock it before we've even tested it? Test it. From my own experience, and I'm sure from many Gursikhs' experience, you will find that eternal peace slowly, and find getting closer and closer to God. And then you'll know for yourself, you won't need me to tell you that repeating para fashion is the way. And definitely those people who say you shouldn't repeat, obviously they haven't tried it, they haven't tested it themselves. They've become so intellectual that they've lost the essence of Gursikhi. So they've gone, we have one extreme, where with these false prophets and false babbe, because they are joining us to them. And we have the other extreme, where we become so knowledgeable, or done so much Khoj and research, that we think we become more knowledgeable than Guru themselves. Two dangerous extremes. What we have to do is stay humble and find this middle path. Not be led astray by people taking us away from our Guru, not be led astray by people adjoining with themselves. We just adjoin with Stan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the giver, the organizer, the deliverer of our soul back into themselves. Andin Sukrit Kariya, Andin, day and night, Sukrit. Krit means your karam, your actions, Sukrit means Sresht. So you do Sresht actions, Change karam, Nishkam actions. Don't ask for anything materialistically, because that will be given to you automatically due to our karam. Guru Sahib Ji will bless us with all of that automatically. If we ask for spirituality, we get spirituality, we go closer to God, but at the same time, we get given our materialistic wealth as well. So we should have nothing to worry about, because if you just ask for materialism, you're not going to develop spiritually, and we'll be going back in this cycle of birth and death. So while we're living in this world, we repeat the name of the Lord.
Rahau.
This is the Rahau Pankti where we're going to pause, and this is the key message from the Shabad.
ਸੰਤ ਕਾ ਮਾਰਗ ਧਰਮ ਕੀ ਪੌੜੀ।
So what is this marg of a sant, of a saint? Sant ka marg, this path is dharam ki pauri. These steps are the path of dharam, the path of Gursikhi. What are those spiritual paths? They're actually we are told there are 7 steps or 7 spiritual states to become one with the Lord. And I'm going to quickly go through those before Bhai Singh will tell us about the soldier path, the path of being a soldier. Those paths, the first one, the first spiritual state is we have a shubh ichha, we have a good thought. We want to come to the Sadh Sangat. We want that thought of doing seva. We want to do Simran. We want to do Chaur Sahib. We want to do the Jodiandi seva. We want to wash the dishes of the Sangat. And as we go through that state, and all these states are only developed by repeating the name of the Lord. So we've already been told, you repeat the name of the Lord. When you repeat the name of the Lord, what happens? You go through these spiritual states. Your ichha will develop that you want to do more and more. And then you will reflect that God exists everywhere. God exists in the Sangat. And you want to serve the Sangat more, you want to serve God's creation, because the second step, you realize that God exists everywhere. And so you serve all the creation, you repeat the name more and more, you develop more and more. The third stage, because you are becoming more humble by serving the creation, you start losing your Kam, Krodh and Lobh. So 3 of these Vishay Vikar, lust, anger and greed, it decreases. So lust, greed and anger decreases. Then you move to the 4th spiritual stage. The 4th spiritual stage is like we're awake. We are awake to the meaning of life. Because as you develop spiritually, your frequency starts tuning in. Your Vishay Vikara are decreasing. You're developing good qualities. So you are tuning like our mind can be described in 3 states. While we're awake, while we're dreaming, and while we're in deep sleep. And while we're awake, this stage, the 4th stage, is like we're awake. When we're awake, we know what's happening. And so we're awake to the world, that God exists everywhere. We're awake that God exists and we must continue to develop. And so we continue to develop because we've experienced some of that bliss. The 5th stage then is like Hankar and Moh, our ego, our attachment, they increase. And then also at the same time, it's like the state when we're dreaming. You know, when we dream, we think it's true when we're in a dream. And then when we awake out of a dream, we realize it was false. Even when I'm in a dream, you don't want a dream to end. Because sometimes it can be so beautiful and you can believe it so much that this is truly happening. And then when you wake up, you think, why did this dream end? And even I've done in the past, I've tried to close my eyes again. I don't want this dream to end. I want to carry on with this dream because it was so great. I want it to be true. But you realize when you wake up that this dream wasn't true. And in this 5th stage of spirituality, you realize that this world is a dream, it's an illusion. And ultimately it's false because one day it's going to end. You start believing, you start understanding that the only truth is God, and the only way to reach God is through the perfect, the true Guru, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Then the 6th stage is like our deep sleep. You know, when we're in a deep sleep, we don't have dreams, we forget about everything. We go Sorat'h. We don't even remember our family, our friends, materialism, we forget everything. We're such in a deep state of mind, our deep sleep. And that's what the 6th spiritual stage is like, because we realize that everything is false. We are detached, we become detached from everything. Although we live in everything, the quality of a true Gursikh is they live in the world, but they're detached from the world. They live in the world by living their daily lives, doing change karam, naam japna, vand ke shakna, kirt karni, as Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji told us. But they're detached in the sense that they are not attached to materialism. They realize that materialism is so much because they are attached to the Charan of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. And then the 7th stage, which is called Turiya Pad, Turiya Avastha, or Chautha Pad, is the stage of oneness with the Lord, what we call Brahma Gyan, true knowledge of the Lord. Now, in this world, people will tell you they are Brahma Gyanis or they are one with the Lord. Ultimately, somebody who's one with the Lord will probably never tell you. And even them will tell you how great their spiritual path has been. They will only join you with Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the Guru, who is going to take us from no knowledge to complete knowledge. If we're asking others for our gifts and our blessings, and if we don't ask Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, then how are we going to be blessed? It's like, for instance, I've got 2 friends. I ask one for some money or one for some help, and then I ask the other one for the same help. The other one's going to say, well, you've asked the other one. Why are you asking me for now? That happens in this world. Maybe we should have the same mentality with Guru Sahib Ji. If we're going to other places, these false prophets, and we're listening to these people who have become so intellectual that they're taking us away from the Guru. When we come to Guru Sanctuary, Guru Sahib Ji, although they don't think like this, but we must think like this. Guru Sahib Ji saying, "Tusi ta onu puch rahe ho." Now you're coming to me. Let's forget everybody else and only fall in the feet of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, do the seva of the Sadh Sangat. Guru Sahib Ji will give us our khushiyan and they will answer all our prayers.
Har charani chit laye.
And join us with their charan, their feet. They will join us with them, take away, clean all our paps and take us on this path of spirituality.
Ustat karho sada Prabh apne.
So by listening to all of this and reflecting on all of this and me myself, what should we do then? Ustat karho sada Prabh apne. We should sing the praises always of our Lord, Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji.
Jin puri kal rakhi.
Who is the only person that is going to completely look after us in this age of Kaljug.
Ji jant sab bhai pavitra.
Ji jant, not only us, the Ji jant, all of their creation will become pavitra, will become pure.
Satgur ki sach sakhi.
And that is from the true word, that is the true bhajan that Guru Sahib Ji, the true Guru Satguru gave us. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji said, when you give your head to me, I'm your father, Mata Sahib Kaur is your mother, I will look out for you. Even if you have to do an act, even if due to your actions, you had to go to the Naraka. Guru Sahib Ji gave an example. Even if you went to the Naraka and went to the hells, I will take you out of those hells, because once you have given your head to me, you are my son or you are my daughter, I'm your father, and I will look after you till the end.
Bigan binasan sab dukh nasan.
All bigans, all obstacles, binasan, will be wiped away. They'll take all our obstacles away from us, whether they're worldly, whether they're spiritual. They will take all obstacles away. Sab dukh nasan, all our pains and sufferings, they will destroy all of those for us.
Satgur naam dridaya.
But what do we have to do? We have to repeat Satguru's true name, Dridaya. We have to repeat that name that's given to us by the Panj Pyare. We have to repeat that name, and then this will happen.
Khoe paap bhai sab pavan.
Khoe paap, all the paap that we may have done, all our actions, that's what Maharajh is saying that we may have done. We'll lose all of that. Guru Sahib Ji will take those away. Bhai sab pavan. We will become pavan. That means completely pure.
Jan Nanak sukh kar aaya.
And Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the embodiment of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, in the form of our fifth Guru, Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, Jan Nanak, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us, Sukh kar aaya, Sukh kar aaya. Simply, if you want to take it in a simple sense, we will gain Sukh, peace in our house. What is our house? This body. So in the spiritual sense, we'll gain eternal peace in our house, this body. We'll gain peace in the worldly sense, in the world, in our daily living. And ultimately, we'll go to that Sukhakar, that house of peace, which is the seventh spiritual stage of Brahm Gyan. We'll become one with the Lord. So, I've obviously taken a little bit more than I should have to share the teachings of this Hukamnama. Bhai Indrajit Singh will then now share the path of the soldier. And ultimately, we'll either tread on this path of being a saint, tread on this path of being a soldier, or if we're blessed so much, we can tread on the path of being saint soldiers. If I've made any mistakes or offended anybody, I beg for forgiveness. You, the Sadh Sangat, can bless me with Brahm Gyan so I can continue sharing these teachings correctly. I pray to Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji that he blesses us all with Gur Sikhi, so we can all attain that eternal bliss while we're living, and we can share that with each other when we're coming into the Sadh Sangat. The final bit of teaching, I just want to say, never go to one extreme, false prophets, false Babbe. Never go to the other extreme where we become so intellectual that we forget Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji themselves. We go in the middle and we fall at the feet of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And what will they do to us? They will give us all blessings as they've promised us in this Shabad. Deho sajane sichdiyan, jo hove Sahib se Mehl, lekha Katha hen shutiya, khin khin pulan har, baksan har baksara, nanak par utar.
Bigan binasan sab dukh nasan, Satgur naam dridaya. Khoe paap bhai sab pavan, Jan Nanak sukh kar aaya.
Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki